His remains were embalmed, brought home and interred in Kilbroney graveyard here. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I am here in Kilbroney old church ruin and graveyard in the Rostrevor area. This is in County Down in Northern Ireland. So I'm back in County Down, back in Northern Ireland to do some videos here today. And look at that beautiful scenery as you come into this old graveyard, those beautiful mountains. So why I'm here today is I'm here today to find the grave of Patrick Murphy, known as the Irish Giant, who died in the 1800s. And while I go around here, we'll read a couple of old graves, and while we're looking for the final resting place of Patrick. So he was known as the Irish Giant. He was born in 1834 to James and Peggy Murphy. He was noted as the world's tallest man at 8 feet 1 inch. He kept children in the area and the village entertained by lighting his pipe off the gas street lights. So later on in years, as I was saying, Patrick was measured at 8 feet 1 inch, but a famous German physician, Dr. Rudolf Virchow, measured Patrick in 1860 and recorded his height at 7 feet 3 inches. Patrick travelled around Europe. He joined the exhibition of curiosity show that performed in England and across Europe. So on the 18th of April 1862, while he was on tour throughout Europe, Patrick died of smallpox in Marseille, France, at the age of 28, a very tender age. His remains were brought back by steamer ship to nearby Warren Point here in County Down on the 17th of June 1862. Now people say that Patrick's coffin was 10 feet long, and he's buried here in Kilbroney old graveyard. So I'm going to read a couple of old graves before I take you over to see Patrick's final resting place. And I've seen a picture of it online. What a beautiful resting place it is. There's actually a photograph of Patrick at the gravesite. So just in here we have here lie the remains of Edward Keelty of Kilbroney, who died the 20th of September 1837, aged 73 years old. So there we have in front of the screen the old church ruin, which I believe is 13th century. There's also an old cross that's here, 8th century. We'll have a look at that as well. So I'll take you around the side of the church here. And on this grave we have, this stone was erected by James White of Warren Point to the memory of his mother Jane, who departed this life the 3rd of February 1834, aged 50 years old. Also his daughter Jane White, who departed this life in 1833, aged 8 years old. So what a story about Patrick Murphy, the Irish Giant. buried in this beautiful old graveyard and surrounding views and scenery here. A stunning part of the north. And this grave in here, we have here light the body of James Caulfield of Newtown, Ross Trevor, who departed this life on December the 27th, 1928, aged 27 years old. And this one was erected to the memory of Elizabeth Hollywood, look at that for a surname, of Warren Pint, who departed this life on the 1st of September 1823, aged 44. Also her husband, is that Hall, Hall, or Hal maybe, Hollywood, who departed this life the 12th of February 1858, aged 78. And the inscription is very, very clear on this, because sometimes you see these headstones and it's very hard to read the inscriptions. So here lie the remains of Owen Boyle, who departed this life in January 1817, aged 33 years old. Universally regretted by rich and poor, it says on the headstone there. Also his sister Mary Ann O'Neill, who died the 1st of June 1827, aged 32. So there's a nice inscription. Universally regretted by rich and poor, which is nice to see that there is no divide when it comes to death. So let's take a quick look inside the old church ruin here. So the church here, as I was saying, is 13th century. And there's a pile of stones here. And a headstone. And unfortunately I cannot read the inscription on that, it has worn away. But there's not many graves in here, I think maybe 2 or 3 inside the church. Sometimes on my walks we come across old churches and you find a lot of graves. So this is just a wrought iron one. I don't see an inscription on it. And this small stone here. And it says on this, burial place of Peter Shields, who died the 18th of September 1917. Also his wife Bridget Carville, and she passed away in 1949. So it looks like somebody put a new plaque on that part of it. So there's the old church. Now I can actually feel the rain coming down. So what I'm going to do is bring you around and show you the final resting place of Patrick Murphy the giant. And here comes the rain, the heavy rain. I thought it might dodge it, but unfortunately not. But we'll keep going. I just want to show you here. This is the cross I was speaking about. This is 8th century, this old cross here that stands here in the graveyard. And we have the Burke family grave. And a lovely photograph on it there, look at that. Filled with colourful flowers. So just in here is the final resting place here, this cross of Patrick Murphy, the Irish giant. And it says on his grave, of your charity pray for the soul of Patrick Murphy And you can just see it on the inscription, the Irish giant, to whose memory this monument has been erected by a few friends and admirers. And we have a photograph here of Patrick Murphy on the grave. Look at that, with a little boy standing beside him, and he's wearing his top hat, and he has a cane as well. Patrick Murphy of Kilbroney, 1834 to 1862, and somebody has left a lovely yellow rose there. So that is the final resting place of Patrick Murphy. 7 feet 3 inches tall, who travelled around Europe, and he's buried here in this old graveyard. And it actually says it on the inscription, if I go a little closer. Extract from parish register. This young man was admittedly the tallest man, it says, in the world at the time of his death. His exact height being 8 feet 1 inch. And it said he was born in June 1834 and died in Marseille, France in 1862. His remains were, oh, that's interesting, just down the bottom. His remains were embalmed, brought home and interred in Kilbroney graveyard here. So a very interesting inscription. I'm glad I actually read that. And I was kind of thinking that myself. If you're brought back in a ship from France, you know, by the dates, they're saying 2 months later he was brought back to be buried here. So he died, I think, in April, but he wasn't buried until June, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. But he was embalmed. So he was embalmed, brought back in a 10 feet coffin. I can just imagine the crowd of people that would have stood here at this grave on the day of the funeral to remember the Irish giant Patrick Murphy. So rest in peace, Patrick Murphy. What a great story and grave. So guys, the rain is coming down very, very hard at the moment. I have to wrap up the video there. If you like this video and you like what I do, give that thumbs up button a big push and subscribe to the channel and follow me on my journeys. And I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to wrap it up. I will be going to other places here in the north of Ireland, so make sure you hit the notification bell so you won't miss any videos also. So for me here in Kilbroney Old Graveyard, take care, and I'll catch you all on the next one.